Greetings and welcome to Factorio. I'm Dgray and today we start a brand new Let's Play on this channel called Entry Level to Megabase. As some of you remember, I did a similar series about a year ago when 0.18 came out, and now that the 1.1 is out, I want to do an updated version of that. In my old series, 0.18 Entry Level to Megabase, we built our 4K science per minute logistic robots Megabase. Very cool, very awesome that the support we got for that. And in this one, in this entry level to Megabase, what I've planned is to do an entry level to Megabase train base, where we have a modular train setup that can be easily expanded with robots, but everything will be moved around with trains, and just go completely mad with that. Hopefully getting to the same kind of complexity as our earlier setups. So if you want to see more of this, do remember to like the video. It is one of the only ways I know that you want to see more, and it's the only way that YouTube knows that you want to see more. So as I said, do remember to like the video. It is the most important thing you can do. And if you're new to the channel, do remember to subscribe as well. It means a lot, and it will let me know that we can continue along the series. So let's not keep talking here too long, and let's jump directly into the playthrough. So as always, we'll go with a single player, we'll go to free play, and then we'll look at the little modifications I've made to the map. Resources completely default, water, trees the same, cliffs have been turned off since I think they are a nuisance that I don't want to mess with when building an efficient train base. Enemies has also been turned off, as focus of this series is not how to defend against biters, it is how to build an efficient mega base, so we turned that off. We've also turned off the pollution, as that has a quite heavily impact on UPS as we get along, and when building a mega base, UPS is one of the things you have to build around. I've also set research queue availability always, so that is just so it's easier for us to research and it doesn't stop every time. So with that, let's jump directly into the series, and then we will see how it goes as we get going. So welcome to the map. What I normally start with is just clearing out the little wreckage here, picking up some of the few things. While I'm doing that, I will explain the premise like I did before, and that is that we will build a train mega base, but in the start, as a lot of you know, I very much despise spaghetti, so we'll go with a main boss build until we have the infrastructure up and running. But before that, we have to set up a little starter base, very efficient, and then from there get the things we need for our main boss build. In the start, I normally run around a bit, collecting some of these stones that has coal in them, as that makes the start a lot easier. About the people that can watch this series, I will upload the map string so you guys can follow along. New players will learn something. Hopefully more experienced players out there will get some new hints watching this. So that is kind of the goal. So in the start, I want to get the burner mining drills up and running as the first thing. It is quite important getting that up and running before everything else, as that makes it a lot easier to expand out. So the way I normally set it up is take the burner mine drills, plop it down on here, set up a few furnaces, and then get it moving and grooving. So this way, this will feed into this one, and we will start to generate iron. For now, I'll just place in as much as possible to get it going, and start to clear out a few trees while we wait for that to go. The trees are also kind of important to make the first power poles, as what you should normally go for, if you don't know what to go for, is pretty much just work towards the science. It will show you exactly what you need, and going for science will always progress you along in the game. So that is a good rule of thumb. As I talked about a bit earlier, I do dislike spaghetti very much. That is why I'm going with the main bus build. And the other thing I despise very much is manual crafting. So a good rule of thumb is always automate things as a rule of thumb, as then you're quite sure that you have most of the things you need being produced. And you don't have to handcraft all the time when things run out. Now let's just pick up what we need here. That is fine. Get down another one of you. And then we are quite close to being at the point where we'll set up a bit of copper mining as well. As you saw before, I did get some from the stones. But as we continue forward, I want to get some burner mining joules down on the coal patch, as that will help us expand out in a very nice and orderly fashion. So let's grab you. Here's some more coal for that one, just to get you going. And let's make as many burner mining joules as you can, as that is pretty much the main goal here at the start. For now, I'll set up 4 on the coal patch. The way I'll do it is doing it in this pattern. Pretty much as long as you let them feed into each other, they will feed each other and just keep going. For example, if I take out the fuel here, it'll get filled from that one, and so forth. Always filling around the corner, and we can just pick up everything to keep the chain going. So now that we have automated coal, we have a somewhat automated iron setup. We'll continue to expand out our burner mining drills. We also need stone, as furnaces is something we'll need quite a lot of. So a good way to fix that is pretty much hooking down it like this. I normally do 4 just for the production speed, then adding into coal to all of these, and this will slowly but surely produce stone for us. Grab more fuel, more inserters. We'll go and grab a bit more coal from up here, so we can throw it into our machines. If you want to expand out a setup as this, you can just place it down and go around, and that will slowly fill in and continue this cycle, producing more and more coal for us at a greater and greater speed. Let's just get some of these marked, as I don't really need to look at them anymore. We kinda know the gist of what's going on in Factorio. So, continuing the burner mine drills, we'll also set up some of these, but what we're working towards right now is the science. To get science, iron gear wheels, we have that automated pretty much through the iron. Then we need copper, and we need some power. The power goes from the boilers and the steam engines, which require an offshore pump to deliver the water. If we look at the ratios, this requires 30 steam per second. This produces 60. So each one of these can supply 2 of them. This one requires 60 water per second. This one produces 1200. That means one of these can supply 20 of these, 20 of these can supply 40 of these. So 1, 20, 40 is pretty much the ratio I want to work with as we get going. Right now, more mining drills. We'll go grab some more stone, as that is needed for all of these. And we'll expand out the iron production, as that is the main bottleneck we have together with coal right now. So let's go and grab some more coal and also expand out the production up here, as it's still a bit too slow for my taste. So we can do something like that. get it back in. So now we have 12 producing, giving us a nice amount of coal. So down here, let's put in the last little iron one. Here's some coal for these to get it going. There's some more stone. And then we're ready to hook in the copper lines as well. Before we do that, let's go and grab some more coal. Having a nice little circle we're running in here. Very nice. As you can see, these two ran out of fuel, this one as well, but they'll slowly but surely fill themselves up again. Here's a bit of coal for the stone up here. I kind of want you to go. Then we'll hook up. Let's just start with 4 copper miners. Let's hook one up for now and get that going. Very nice. So as you can see, this is pretty well. It's doing exactly what we want, producing iron in copious amounts. So we can get the production up and running. So as soon as we have our iron going and we have our copper going, we will start to hook up the power so we can get our science flowing. That is kind of the next thing I want to do. Let's just get a few more in a view. We can also just go this way. That will work the same as long as you have a nice loop it goes through. So if you start with 2 of you, you'll need 4 of the boilers. We'll need 1 offshore pump. That just requires a bit of copper. So let's just grab that. Let's grab some more small electric poles. And then things are looking very, very good. So when starting a base as well, you have to plan out where you want things to go. As a main boss normally goes one direction, you can see here, we don't want to go up. There's water here that'll interfere with the building. We could maybe go over to the west, but I think we want to have our power production right here. As we do have a small coal patch here, we can take up and in to power all electricity going forward. So we might be able to go here to the right. We do have to go through the forest, but that we can easily chop down or blow up with grenades. So what I think we should do is, if you take the main bus going that way, we can then build maybe on the north part or something like that going that way, and having a smelting race this way feeding into the bus. I think that could be a very, very nice way to do it. So bus going that way, power going that way, and have a little starter base right here producing some of our starting materials. Don't think that is too bad of a plan. So that gives us a ton of coal. This coal we just use to fill up all the machines that's producing, grabbing more stone, and filling up our copper lines as well. There we are. This getting only half in. There we are. Let's get some copper or some iron. And this can run. It seems it has at least a bit of fuel. Anything else almost running out? No, the rest is somewhat good. So while this is chugging along, let's start to drag some power. So for now, why don't we just drag the power poles from here down south. If you hold down left click and just drag, it will place down the power poles at the correct intervals to make sure they don't disconnect. So if we look here, I think this seems like a good place to have our power line. So if we add in the power here, give it a small underground this way. I normally do that so we can run between, otherwise we can't get past the power. We can then hook up this. And the design I normally use is something like this. Get things going. Adding in a few pipes here and here, getting a few belts and a few burner inserters. The reason why I'm using burner inserters is that, for example, if power starts to go down in the base, if we are using inserters, just the normal ones, if we have a 50% power supply, that means these will only run at half speed. That means that we might not be able to supply coal fast enough, meaning the power will run slower and slower, and they'll move slower and slower until the power turns off. That issue is not there if you use burner inserters, and that is why I always recommend you do that, at least for the power area. The reason why I put this little space here is for the power poles. Right now we can in theory do this, and now that we have that, we can pretty much copy paste this down the line. So that gives us 4. You remember we need to have 20. So if that is 4, then we need this times 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That gives us the ratio called 1 pump, 20 boilers, 40 steam generators. So that's perfect ratio in terms of water inputs, and we can get the coal in from the side, powering our entire base. For now, I'll just add in a small amount of coal to get the power flowing. As you can see, we now have 4 in the area. So the first thing we want to research is automation, as we need to get it up and running as fast as possible. And that requires 10 automation science pack or red science. That I'm handcrafting at the moment, so we can put it into our labs that we also need to craft right here. While that is going, I will just fill in a few more things over here, making sure that everything runs smoothly, and maybe adding a few more burner mining drills, as that is very good in the start to make sure we have enough resources being produced. As you can see, that's a nice amount of iron plates. That is a good amount of copper, but we still need to increase it a small amount. Let's fill in all of these. That looks very good. And let's craft just a few more of these just to get things going. They are rather cheap and they're good to have in the beginning. If you hold down right click when moving around, you can start to mine all the things in range, if that is needed. So let's just place down the lab right here for now. It won't stay here forever, but right now I just want our automation science to get done, and this will do exactly that. Let's hook up just a few more down here of different things. Here's a few more view. Let's do the same up top. Let's do the same down here. And do this. Some of you has asked me before how I have the blueprint option at the start of the game. As a new Factorio player, you won't have access to this until you have done the research, construction, robotics. After that, you'll unlock the ability to copy paste blueprints. If you don't want to wait for that, there is a console command you can do in here that lets you unlock it. And if you ask for it in the comments, I can provide you with a link for the Factorio page that shows you exactly how it's unlocked, which is very, very good to have, if I say so myself. So now that we have this going and we almost have automation, that will give us into the second part of the starter base. And that will be automating our science packs. It will be automating our electronic circuits, some iron gear wheels, and some belts. Those are kind of the first things I want to get automated, as those are the most annoying things to craft. And they are used for, well, they're used for many things as the main reason why you craft them. There we are. Here is some for you. Giving us more. That. This is slowly chugging along as well. Just requiring a few more things. So now that we have these, let's start to craft a few. As I said, one of the first things I want to make is electronic circuits. They are quite easy to set up. And I'll do that right after we hook up automation science packs. Let's grab some coal so we have some. As you can see, this requires gear wheels and also requires copper. There's a few ways to do it. In the terms of simplicity, what I normally do is a setup like this. For example, if you do automation science here, we'll do gears here, and in between, we'll add 2 chests. Or in theory, add 3 chests. The reason for that is one of them, well, this one is not needed, we'll add 2 chests. One of them is so we can take this way and then want to take them back. The reason why I want to do this is so I can put in the copper and the iron in this one, just like this. This will take iron that way, turn it into gear wheels, take it back over here. And then we have a nice circle, what's called loop going. This one requires 1 gear wheel every 5 seconds. This one produces 1 every half a second. So it'll supply more than enough, but we can use this as a buffer for gear wheels in the future. So we can just take them for when we need to handcraft. Very important things. We can place one of these in the middle to power it all. And then we can drag it this way over to our power. So as you can see, that will produce science force that can go directly into a lab for now. So that is one of the easiest way to handle it, at least for the foreseeable future. That also means we can start the next research. I'll just get the undergrounds done, they're quite important. And we could also get electronics, maybe some steel, and just get a few things queued up for that. This one is going. I kind of want to make a copy of this, and if you do a Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, you can do that. This will show you where everything has to be, which actually is very, very nice right now. As you can see, we are building up some gear wheels. And this is why I'm doing it, because a lot of things does require gear wheels, and it is a bit annoying if you don't have enough for many, many things. So here we go, you go in, you go in, you go out, and you go in. Power pole, there, and then we'll craft 1 lab by hand. Here's some iron and some copper. And then we have the second science lab going. These can be changed down. For example, here one can probably supply more than one of these can consume. So you can also just add a second one on the end to keep it going. Go, I'll give us some more copper that we can use in our production. Let's grab all this delicious iron. Let's handcraft a few of you, so we have them. Let's get a few of you. So the next thing we want to set up is pretty much electronic circuits. Right now I have this producing the science force. Almost twice the speed now. They are slowly consuming, and we just have to fill these once in a while. And right below this, we can in theory copy the same one. Add it right here. We'll just change the input. For example, this one requires 1 copper and 1 iron and 3 copper cable. That does mean that we'll need actually 1.5 of these to supply one of that, but for simplicity's sake, we'll go a bit slower and just keep it like this. Here, of course, we will need another chest down below. So we'll have to power a bit differently to make enough room for it, if that is what we want. How should we do it the best way? Pretty much just put the chest on the outside, might actually be a bit easier. For example, oh, yeah, that's fine. Let's get you to here and just get the chest on the outside. You will just kind of store up these, and here on the inside we can make a long-handed one to grab you over here. If you look at this one, the rotation speed of burn inserters is 216. It's 300 on the inserter and it's 432. It costs a bit more power, but it moves things along a lot faster. So something like this actually is preferable. There we are. Here and there. You require iron and copper, so yet again, just throw these in. That will start producing. That will throw them over here as fast as possible, and that will give us a nice output of green circuits, and I'll just kind of let it run until it's satisfied. As you can see, we also have science going, slowly chugging along as we have queued up quite a bit. So this is looking very, very nice in terms of science. We do still need to automate our coal production for our power, as running out of power would be a bit annoying at this stage in the game. So what we want to do now is, we have this going. I also want to automate one more thing. So if I grab you one more time, you can just go to here. 1, 2. You will then make transport belts for us. Again, I want to store a bit in these. These can go both ways. And of course, right now I can just grab these, making it a lot easier to craft that if you grab some gear wheels as well. And this is why you set it up, so you can just handcraft these at a much quicker rate. So as you see here, we'll again buffer one chest. Here is some iron. Doesn't require anything else than iron. And this was the thing I was worrying about. That will keep it going. Let's just quickly go and fill this in. Again, a reason why you have to automate it as soon as possible. This should at least last until we automate it in a few minutes. But firstly, we'll have to get the belts crafted, as that is the thing that takes quite a while to do at the moment. Can handcraft a bit, as it is very easy when we have gears stored. That will store gears, and this will go into a little chest yet again, right here, with a power pole. So as you can see, that is a nice simple setup at the start. I'll limit this to about 400 belts, because they stack at 100 at a time. And the rest of this just needs to get a bit of supplies once in a while to keep going. But for now, let's actually hook up our coal for steam engines. I'll just pick this up for it to keep going, so we have some for rest, and then it'll be very nice. That will probably be the last thing we do in this episode. So if you think this is a good way to do it and you want to see more, do remember to like the video. It is extremely important, otherwise I'll probably not do more than maybe 5 or 10 episodes if there's no interest in this, as my time is a bit scarce. But I very much want to do it if it's something you want to watch. So let's track the power as well, as that is kind of needed down at the area. The power of this also, you can just drag it along. And it'll always build on top of the ghost placement you have, as long as you have any. And after that, it'll go to maximum range. That is kind of how they're programmed to go. Then we'll just take you down this way. We can always move you in case you are in the way. All the way down to the coal, so we actually have some power here. There we are. So we have 4 miners. Let's just hook you up right here. 2, 3, 4. Let's craft some more belts while we're here. Might as well just get things going. You can go up this way. So the way I normally do this is, just look at this one. These go across this way. Then you hook up right here, right there, and here. The reason why I'm putting it here is then you can also power 3 at a time, and it can reach. So now we have automated coal. As you saw, I just built one splitter. It splits or joins transit belts cargo 1 to 1. But the thing that's good with this is you can do a one-lane balancer by doing something like this. Making sure that if one side jams, it'll just put it on the opposite side if there's room. Actually very important to get done, as it will make sure that we have maximum throughput down the line. So let's just cut down a few trees back to the base and get the rest of this hooked up. Let's see, we have it right here, and this is kind of what we have to hit for it to get in. Let's see, it's about... There's a few more belts, please. Hopefully we can have enough. You can just kind of drag them over here. Let's just do it. Right now I'm just holding down right click and moving along. Seeing if anything gets cut up by the axe. There's one right there as well. And just a few more trees, and we have automated our power supply. There we are. So that will go back here. That will slowly but surely get put into these. And then we can always expand this out, and then we'll have enough power for the foreseeable future as soon as it gets to that point. So right now we have a very, very nice starter base. Hopefully you think this is a good way to build. As you can see, some of them have run out now. So you can always just refill things. So you require a bit of that. You require some as well. We can grab some circuits for these in case we need. We have belts. We have green circuits. And we have iron being produced that we can just fill up with coal and keep it running. So I think this is a pretty good place to end the episode. As I said, do comment down below what you think about this way of starting. Setting up a nice little area here. Very stringent, very nice and organized. And as well, do comment if you want to see more, if you enjoyed this. And like I said earlier, do remember to like the video or dislike if you don't like to. Any kind of interaction is very, very good. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I've been Dgray, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.